Do you think you can recreate for us the off-air segment that you just did?
Well,
and do you think the listeners would find it interesting? You guys were going through maps. It was like you in that Nicolas Cage American Treasure movie.
Some of that I know she does not want to say, but it looks from the map Shelly brought in that we own almost all of it now, except for a couple of pieces. Correct?
That's correct.
And there's going to be some difficulty in a couple of those in getting them, right?
Right.
So what are we going to do?
We are going to, like I said, we have been in negotiations with that last one, and we'll continue to talk to them about it. It really is the last one to infill that entire area. The bond issue said we could only buy from Caddo East, and that really takes care of that, with the exception of a really large piece that's more to the west, kind of not right on the bayou.
Right. And that's the scrapyard you were showing me is way further to the west.
Yes.
And doesn't even front the water.
Correct.
But you would still like that piece.
Well, I think we would like that piece eventually. I think that is a project all in itself. To acquire that would be a big, but there's that one piece that is owned by KCS that's right in the middle of, is I showed you on the map, we've bought over the years since 1996, bought all of that, and that's would be the remaining piece left.
The scrapyard comes with its own set of problems. This piece we just bought next door to the Hilton, on the DEQ site, it says it has 2 underground storage tanks still on the property. Soil and groundwater conditions are unknown. It goes on. Possible hazardous chemicals may have been impacting the soil or groundwater, and I'm quoting from the report. Potential asbestos-containing materials inside the building. Do we know yet cleanup costs or what kind of liability we have taken on by purchasing this property?
We do know what we had the DEQ report. We at the city always do, at minimum, before we buy any piece of property, a phase 1 report. And why we do that is to protect the city, and we become what they call an innocent buyer when we do that. In this case, we had done a phase 1 and a phase 2 real early on, way before. And then we had to do, in order to continue to be an innocent buyer and eligible for grants, we had to do an update, which the one you're looking at was the update, 180 days before we closed, to continue to protect the city and give us the opportunity for grants to help clean this up.
When there was during the Cross Bayou thing over the last few weeks, culminating this past Tuesday at the city council, and one of the things that was being discussed was who was going to pay for one of the things that Gateway Louisiana LLC wanted from the city at one point was to do the environmental study and to pay for the cleanup. And one of the things that we had heard, we had read a couple of sources, and you can verify, or you can say, no, that's not true. Is it true that whoever pays for a cleanup is liable in perpetuity for any lawsuit that comes out of that?
I am not the expert on that. Wes Watts, who works for the city of Shreveport, handles those things for us. Also, when we're looking at properties, we're looking at what is our future use for them. In this case, we don't believe we'd keep the building. So when you're demolishing and your cleanup is a little bit different, it's not quite as stringent as if you were going to occupy the building. So I can't answer that question for you. I think that's a Wes White question.
But underground storage tanks have typically been a problem in a lot of places. They have leaked into the ground, into the water supply, which feeds the water supply to Bossier. Who can give an estimate of what the cleanup might cost, might range? You got to have some ideas, huh?
Yes, and we could probably come back to you with some.
Okay.
Wes and I could come back and talk about that, but the phase 2 really goes into that detail of what you're going to have to do, and it takes into consideration, or your plan takes into consideration, how you're going to use the property.
Shelly Ragle, SPAR Director. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate your time.
Anytime.
Thank you.